So I've spent hundreds of hours analyzing sales funnels from some of the top coaches and gurus out there while working with multiple 5 and 6 figure entrepreneurs to scale their info businesses to 100K per month. And in that entire time frame, I've never used a paid community funnel. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how community funnels are destroying most info businesses, why they're way more work than you actually think they are, and I'm going to be showing you exactly how they trick you into thinking that you're winning when you actually are not. At the end, I'll reveal the simple community funnel framework that I use that's way less work, gets you the most bang for your buck, and gets you the most time freedom and can actually be scaled to 100K per month. Without any further ado, let's just get straight into it. Before I explain everything in the back end, I need to go ahead and explain what a free community funnel even actually looks like. So I'll go ahead and get into that right now. A free community funnel basically looks something like this. You have your upfront content. So this could be YouTube, this could be your Instagram, this could be whatever. This content then goes and funnels people into a page of some kind, and they get funneled into a free community. This is completely free, and the only thing you ask for is their email address and their phone number. That's it. Now, after this, you will then go ahead and obviously advertise to them through email, advertise to them through SMS, and within the free community, you're going to try to upsell them into a paid community that is going to be anywhere between around about, it could be like $10 a month, $10 a month, all the way up to maybe even $300 a month, depending on where you're at. But most communities are going to stay in the range of $50 to $100 per month, especially in BizOp. Now, the big flaw with this, I'm going to break down really quickly. But now that you actually know what this kind of looks like, you kind of understand it in a basic sense. So let me get into the actual context of exactly why I'm making this video. A client came to us actually after a failing community funnel. They had a community funnel, but it was absolutely just messed up. Here's exactly why it failed. So to hit 100K a month at $49 a month, you need 2,041 paying customers. As you can see, that's the math. Versus if the client came to us with a mentorship funnel, you would only need 20 people at $5,000 a month, or just $5,000 to make $100,000 a month. That means you'd only need to convert 20 people. And if you want to break this down even further into first principles, we can do that too. So if you have, let's say, 100K story, let's say not that much, but let's say you have 1,000, maybe 10,000 people who view your story. All right, let's go for 10,000 people, and maybe, or even 5K, right? Let's say 5K people view your story. Let's say 5% of them convert into the DMs. You've got, let's say, 250 people left over. So you got 250 people left over. After that, if you can set 100 of them into some kind of call, you would need a 20% close rate at a minimum, which is ass, by the way, absolutely garbage close rate, and you would be able to get $100,000 a month. 20% close rate. And even if you can just lower this number to however much your specific funnel is, and you will still be able to squeeze out easy 20 people a month. Like it's really easy if you have an actual following. So I'm pretty sure you see the problem at this point. Unless you're Iman with millions of broke followers, this math simply does not work for free community or paid funnels. For example, right here, Iman with millions of followers. He is probably the only one in the world that can pull this off. Well, not in the world, but like people like Alex, people like Iman, people like Alex Becker, I don't know, like all these people are the only ones that can pull this off. And even if you do get the volume, free communities are absolute hell to run. That's why Iman doesn't run any of them, because they're just a pain in the ass, because there's so much spam, there's a ton of bots, there's a ton of drama, people leaking your stuff, people like putting a bad rep on your name, all that jazz. And we burned 4 months on this. Well, the client burned about 4 months on this with $0 in sales, just headaches, trying to fix this funnel. We could have made $80,000 plus in that time with high ticket, which is the average. Instead, we got nothing. So in the next 20 minutes, I'll be going ahead and covering exactly how you can avoid all of this and get the lesson without the scar. This took us 4 months and $80,000 in lost profit to learn, and I'll be giving it all away in this single video. So stick around. Let's get into it. So first of all, the main problems with a free community / paid community. Now, first of all, they're very hard to run. As I said before, spam, bots, drama. People can easily attack you with just spamming your group with bots, especially in a free community, even in Discord and even in well-moderated sites. So you're going to need people to babysit these guys. Next, more people will result in more mess, right? So let's say you put, obviously, if you put 2,000 people in a room together, they're going to get up to some weird crap. They're going to do some weird stuff, especially in a chat. Online, they're even worse. They're going to say random profanities. They're going to shame other people. They're going to show homophobia. They're going to show a lot of these things. And again, all of these things is just going to result in more mess and more work for you. So why would you want to go through that? Next is that bad news will spread fast. So if you, let's say, mess up or you don't fulfill well enough, that bad news is going to spread so fast across your entire following. 2,000 people will tell another 2,000 people. Another 2,000 people will tell another 2,000 people. And instantly, you are now heralded as a scammer on the internet. Instantly. That's why, again, another reason free communities are so horrendous. If you have like 20 people in your mentorship and they don't like your mentorship, what are 20 people going to do, right? Just make sure that, obviously you want to make sure that your product is good, but if your product accidentally like got messed up, you maybe forgot this fulfillment step or whatever it might be, you are going to be in a very bad spot. You're not going to be able to be forgiven. Number 4, there's a ton of big churn. So they join, they take the free stuff, and then they instantly leave, like right away, basically. Because they're freebie seekers. They came here for free stuff, so they're just going to take it and leave. Why would they care about you? And then, of course, if you do also let people talk a lot, it will get very wild if you don't know what you're doing, which 90% of people don't when they're starting a free community. So, again, it comes to the same point. If there are 2,000 people online in a chat, they're going to get up to some wild stuff. And it also takes a very long time to turn free folks into actual paying customers. Most of these people are also freebie hunters, not buyers. So 90% of them are also not even going to convert, even if you give them like a year to convert. So 10% of people are going to take like a year to convert. So that's not really a juicy deal at all, man. Not at all, basically, from the free community. Plus, you also need mods and VAs to babysit. So even the small amount of profit you make from your paid community, that's all going to be gone in mods and VAs, because you're going to need, like, the bigger the community gets, you're going to need like 3, 4, or 5 at least for a big community of these VAs or mods. And each of these guys, if you're paying them $1,000 a month, that's like $4,000 a month gone. That means that's 40,000 people's monthly add-in to your community, monthly retainer on your community gone every single month. So 40 people are just paying for these 3 guys. It's pretty insane, right? And then, of course, you also need to think about the math. Like, the math really hurts. To get $100K a month at $100, you need 1,000 payers. At $49, you need 2,000. Many of these people will also quit every single month, so you can't even make the excuse of lifetime value. Most of you guys actually don't even have a following of like 2,000. Like, half of you, I do believe, have less than 1,000 or 2,000 followers on your Instagram account. So how would you expect? How would you convert more than your following? Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? Next, there's also app risk. So the platform can instantly just change the rules or kill the group. This has happened to many Discord groups. You will get killed if you don't actually moderate properly. Your group is going to get destroyed. Same thing with like WAP. Same thing with Skool. Obviously, Skool is really good at moderation and everything like that in general. So is WAP. But there's still app risk, especially with these new platforms like WAP. WAP is changing stuff like every other day. So there's a lot of changes going on back and forth. That's one of the biggest reasons that I really am kind of skeptical about WAP. Even though I do use it every once in a while, I'm thinking of switching to Skool if we ever do another free community, just because Skool is kind of just better right now because WAP is changing everything, basically. It's so confusing. Next, competitors will also DM your people and, of course, steal, because obviously they would. There is a free hodgepodge of their perfect ICP in your free community or your paid community. They can just DM them and get them to convert to your specific thing. And of course, these people don't care about you. If they're ticked off by even one of your features being missing, they'll leave. They'll just go to the other guy. It's not really a big deal for them because it's just a community. They didn't pay $3,000 to get here. Next, you also don't even own the list. So if you have like 6,000 people, those are all just like rented lists, if you guys know what I mean. You are renting off of the platform. If the platform goes, you're gone too. Your entire list is gone. So unless you move them to email or SMS, you're utterly cooked. Like, you don't have anything, basically. Number 13 is that if you have too many channels, that'll result in more noise. And noise equals more people quitting. So that means that obviously a lot of people will try to put in as many channels in their Discord server, blah, blah, blah. And that will result in more noise and more confusion for your prospects, which will result in even more quits. And a lot of people that are inexperienced do that. Number 14, the free group sometimes just turns into free support if you're not strict enough. And 90% of you guys aren't strict enough to even ask for your prospects or like deny your prospects on a call. So I don't believe that some of you guys are going to be able to make sure that your free group will not turn into free support. Plus, it's another bit of like mental strain on the people who can actually do it, because like, why would you want to basically become these like 2,000 people's mother at this point? If you aren't strict, this group will basically turn into full one-on-one support, because people will just give your moderators like or your admins just a ton of messages. Hey, help me with this, blah, blah, blah. They'll expect daily responses. They'll expect quick responses, and they'll expect basically premium services from a free community. And a lot of people let it get that far. And once it gets that far, your people are going to stay entitled. And if you take that away from them, they're going to leave, like a lot of them, right? So that's a big mistake, again, that's going to result in your group also losing a ton of people. Number 15 is that if you don't have a clear goal, that'll result in lurkers. And of course, lurkers do not buy. And you'll see this with a lot of communities. They have like 5,000 people, but the moment they open up chat, like 5 people talk. So a lot of these people in the free communities are just there because they want to be there. I guess they just joined once and they forgot that it existed. And so again, you want to make sure that you somehow keep these lurkers out. And then of course, number 16, the worst one, there's engagement tax. You must post daily, every single day, or your community will die. Like, if you don't post daily, if you don't engage at least weekly in the community, people will leave. They won't pay you. They won't stay in the free community. They won't engage themselves because you're not engaging in the free community. So imagine that you have to engage daily. You have to spend like an hour or two a day just managing a free community. Why would you do that? They're not even paying you anything. And the only time this would be worth it, again, is when you're really trying to upsell them into a very high ticket mentorship. And this is some kind of like triple layered play. And I'll get into why that's so powerful later. Like, free communities have a place, especially when you want to nurture people, but this is not it. Like, actually monetizing with free and paid, not a good idea. Now, the mentorship solves a lot of these things. So let me go through exactly what the solutions are from the mentorship and exactly why you should be doing this. So first of all, it has a huge ticket. So fewer sales will be easily hitting your goal. Again, coming back to my earlier point, if you have $100,000 as your monthly goal, 100K divided by 5,000, that right there equals 20 people. So all you would need is 20 people out of like a 2,000 following. That's a 1% conversion rate. That's very doable. Like a 1% conversion rate, very doable for you guys. I'm not even going to lie. If you can make 100K a month. It's not that difficult with 2,000 followers. You can make 100K a month. It's possible. Obviously you can't sustain it, but if you can, go ahead and keep growing and you get to like 10, 50, 40K a month, easy 100K months, brother. Easy with high ticket. Anyways, next is the better buyers. So since you have a higher ticket, obviously there's going to be more educated buyers. There's going to be better buyers in general that actually care about this stuff. They'll get better results. They'll put in the effort. They'll put in the work, and that will result in way better proof for you and a way better feedback loop. So whenever somebody comes in, they pay so much money that they're like, holy crap, I cannot waste this. And they actually put in all of the work that you tell them to do, because there's no point in you giving all the knowledge in the world. Why do you think YouTube exists? People don't even buy into courses at this point for the knowledge, because everything that people do is out there for free on YouTube. Almost everything. Like, not services, maybe not. Like, for example, something that I do, like that thing is not really out on YouTube. You can't really learn that very easily on YouTube. But everything else, like there's tutorial videos, there's full courses out on YouTube about almost everything. So you're mostly buying into the specific person doing it for you, saving time or saving money in the process. So that's the main two reasons. And 90% of people are going to take that trade. And the people who take that trade are going to be better buyers, right? So all this stuff is available for free on YouTube. The reason that these mentorships and courses work is just because accountability. They gave us $3,000. They have to do it now. They have to do it. It's mostly just accountability, right? So next is number 3, there's less randomness. So there's a clear plan. It's way easier to run. Like, for example, it's way easier to manage 20 people on a CRM than 2,000. It's way easier to manage 20 people on Zoom than 2,000. It's way easier to manage 20 people on virtually any platform versus 2,000. It's way easier to fly 20 people out to a mastermind versus 2,000. Again, I'll keep repeating this. It's way easier to deal with less people, and you're going to make more money with those less people, and you're going to have less of a pain in the ass. Number 4, you can also do group calls. So it scales without just tons of one-on-one. So if you have one-on-one calls, you're making 100K a month. Let's say that you're making 100K a month. You got 20 clients right now. You're doing weekly calls. That's like 3 calls a day. And some of you guys might scoff, be like, oh my God, 3 calls a day. That's like 3 hours, man. You're putting in 3 hours a day for 100K a month. I think that's a worth it trade. But if you really wanted to stick to that 3 hours a month, you could just half the price of the mentorship and just make it like 2,500. And then you could add 5 people per call. So now what you've just done is that you have 2.5x your total money output. So now you've gone ahead and up from 100K a month right here. Now you're up to 250K a month, even halving your price, and you're at 250K a month. And then later you can just keep upping it slowly as well to make even more money. It's insane, but it is very scalable. A lot of people think that, hey, it's not scalable, but it is really very easily scalable. Just up the prices if there's too much demand and there's not enough supply. or just start doing, or just make more supply and reduce the price. That's it. Number 5, the clients actually show up. So again, coming back to my previous point, they show up because they paid, they actually care. They care about what they did. They gave you $5,000. They're not going to just up and run away from you now and not listen to what you said. They're going to start taking notes and actually giving a crap because they just gave away four figures to you. Obviously, they're going to give a crap. Like if you gave some, you'll just take this as an example. 90% of the people, like even you watching this video, 90% of you are not going to implement what I tell you in this video. 90% of you are going to go back and be like, oh, sick, community funnels, I have it already. Yeah, it's fine, whatever, we can make it work. It's exactly what's going to happen. Now, if you paid me $5,000, the same thing is going to change. You're going to actually care about what I'm saying here. You would be taking notes right now about this video. You would be like actually implementing in real time as I tell you these things, right? That's what you would be doing if you actually paid me that much. So again, number 6, you want to set a set time. So 6 to 12 weeks or months. That will result in fewer quits. So you want to be like, we're going to have a 90-day sprint. We're going to have a 6-month marathon. We're going to have a 12-month super mega marathon, whatever. So you can have different time frames that you help people in that will result in fewer people also churning out of the mentorship. So you can charge more for a larger period of time. And the people who pay more will get, I guess, more facilities as well. The sweet spot for mentorship is like $5K to $10K for like 3 months. 3 months is a lot of time for you to get results for your clients. And it's also a really good amount of time for your client's mind because you can just say like 90 days or something, and that'll be about 3 months, right? So you can say we work together for 90 days, you get these results, and of course they're gonna pay way more because it's 90 days instead of 1 month. 1 month's way more difficult to sell than 90 days. Next, it's also way easier to like charge for outcomes and not just access, because I guess the best way to explain this to you is if you guys know about that thing that everybody does, oh, sell me this pen, right? A lot of people that you ask in sales are just going to be like, I'll just put the pen in the pocket and I'll talk to the person and understand them, right? So let's say John really, let's say John really likes writing, okay? John is a guy that doesn't exist, but he likes writing. He really likes writing, but he gets hand pain whenever he writes. Now, instead of touting about the fact that this pen has 5% more quality ink or whatever it might be, or has gold plating, no, John does not care about that. You'll say, okay, what's your problem, John? Okay, that's your problem. Sick. This pen has really nice padding on the exact areas that make your wrist hurt, and of course it has a really nice ergonomic design that makes sure that your wrists do not hurt, and specifically tailor that argument to John. So you can be like, you're going to get this outcome where you're not going to have your wrist pain anymore. You're going to be able to write more, which is going to increase the quality of your books, which is going to mean you make more money, right? You can tailor that to John, but you can't do that on a checkout page, can you? You can't. You have to do that on a sales call. And unless you are selling a one-time $6,000, $10,000 community, you can't do that on a sales call, which is a part of my simple framework for making money with communities, right? You need to get on sales calls. But anyways, mentorship solutions, that's the end of that. Next is the paid community pros. Now, there are some pros to paid communities, and there's pros to everything, but there are a few of these, so I wanted to note them down. It's not all evil. So first of all, it does scale if rules are simple and clear. So there's one theme, there's one promise, and there's one timeline, right? We'll get you to X place in X days and with Z mechanism, basically. And that's the main thing you need to make sure to stick to if you want to go ahead and go for a paid community. Next, there's a lower time cost. So there's no need for many live calls, and peers will mostly help peers in the chat as well. Number 3, it's also cheap, so more people can actually start. So if you are in a market that people are kind of poor, they don't have a lot of money. For example, if you're selling to students or somebody like that, if you're selling to that kind of market, then obviously you'd want to give them something cheaper so that more of them can actually give you money. Because, you don't want to sell somebody who has a $100 budget, $1,000 thing, because they're just not going to buy it. So you might as well make more money off of them as well. Then number 4 is also, it's a good entry offer to upsell coaching, events, or tools. So it's a really good entry offer for a lot of people that they can just go and just upsell into coaching. But I don't really recommend this that much because it's just more complexity as well. So if you really think that your coaching, everything else in your coaching is dialed in, because there's way bigger levers you can pull. If you think everything else is dialed in, a paid community is an idea you can try. Then there's number 5, which is that you can add a yearly plan, which will result in more stick and more cash now. So this comes back to what I was saying before. The sales calls. You can sell a course, you can sell some kind of thing with it. And of course, you can also make sure that the monthly fee will give fresh repeat value So like new templates, updates, deals, and not just one time. Because if you do it one time, then you've just lost the whole point of a paid community. And I'll get into this in a quick second later, because this is again a little bit more about my simple formula. I'll get into exactly how you want to structure this and how you actually want to structure a paid community to maximize all of these pros. Then there's also a few pros for a free community. And that's why I really like free communities. Sometimes it depends on the specific situation. But number one, if you are in hobby crowds like students, price sensitive markets, or something like that, maybe like reselling, that's a very hobby crowd. People are only doing it like as a side hustle for like 1K, 2K a month. They're not really making it into a full-time job, and it's not really scalable. So if you're in those kinds of hobby crowds, then a free community or a paid community could be a very good way you can branch out. I even know a guy who does like 50, 40K a month off of a paid community in the reselling niche. Number two, there's also short pop-ups. So 70, 30 day challenge, and then you can close it. So the short pop-ups, what that does is basically you can get a ton of people in the free community, then you can focus all in on nurturing them. I personally don't like this strategy. A lot of people tried it. I've tried it before. This strategy just doesn't really, it doesn't really qualify as well. A lot of people think, oh my God, we're going to get so much qualification, but people mostly just leave the free community or they lurk. And that's a big issue with the short pop-up strategy, so I wouldn't recommend it. But number three is you can also test content, hooks, and FAQs there. Now, I think this is probably the number one or number two use of free communities. If you can get a free community together and make sure that it's like very low, I guess, maintenance. So you could be like, oh, this free community gets the content first before the YouTube or whatever. Then you can just send in your content for testing if it doesn't perform well there. Or you can test new content, you can test new hooks, you can test new FAQs. You can even test new copy in there. Hell, man, you can test anything because you have your ICP in that free community. So you can basically test almost anything. So that's, I think, probably the number one pro or the number two pro probably of free communities. I really like that part about free communities, and it's a really powerful thing you can do. And of course, you can also get word of mouth by posting wins. This is also one of the most important reasons you would want a free community, because everybody's going to start talking, hey, like there's so many wins in this free community. I really want to upsell and upgrade into the paid community. Again, nurturing them. Now, if you still do this, if you still listen to all of this and you're like, all right, I think I should still do my free to paid upsell, just do this. You want to follow this framework. First of all, you want to time box it. You want to have an end date and a clear goal. So, for example, in 90 days, you will get X goal without Y pain point with Z mechanism. That is basically your offer for your community as well. So you should have a clear goal at the end of a certain time frame that they're going to get, just like a mentorship. Now, number two, you also want to move people to email and SMS very fast. You want to make sure that you own your list. For example, if you're selling a content thing or a content community, right? You can be like, hey, you can submit your content to me, content submissions form, and you have to give me your email and SMS. Then you can advertise to them different products that you sell in the future and make way more money off of these people than just what they give you per month in the free community or paid community. Number three, you also set a hard gate for paid. So an application, a clear promise, a simple guarantee, whatever. Like just a hard gate where it's like, you need to do something to get into the paid. Basically, that's what I mean. Now, number four, there's no one-on-one help in the free group ever. I know a lot of you guys will be tempted to help your people in the free community, but the only time that they will ever get help is not when they ask a question or whatever. Do not answer anything. Don't answer jack, brother. If you really want to sell that, if you really want to have that as a selling point of the free community, please make sure that it's like 10 times less cadence or 10 times less help than the paid community at least. And the only time you want to help anybody in this free community is in the support tickets, and you should only allow them to have a support ticket one at a time support ticket, and you should make sure that you reply like 1 or 2 days late. Like 1 or 2 days later after the tickets arrived. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but the reason you want to do that is basically you want to signal that, hey, this is not a VIP experience. We're not giving you priority. You want to respond within 1 day at least, like just so you can actually respond to the thing, but don't try to get there right away. Don't try to pamper your free community members. You need to make them understand, hey, this is just an entry level. The real thing is in the paid community. You need to make them realize that. Now, number 5 is that you want to sell the paid with a big thing up front, plus a small monthly in the same checkout. This is one of the most important things to make any paid community model work. And I think this is probably the only viable paid community model. And the way this kind of works is same thing as the paid community. So you can have a free community or you don't need to as well. You can have a free community as an entry level. I don't recommend the free community existing. So you just skip the free community, and instantly once they go from your story or they go from your bio, they'll go ahead and get redirected to a page where they can book a call. Now they book a call with somebody. This could be a closer. This could be you if you're like starting out. Once they book a call, you should then go ahead and obviously hop on the call with them and sell them on something that looks like this. It'll be a course, right? It'll be a detailed course plus community. Now that sounds like a paid community, right? But the way you want to, spell community wrong. But anyways, the way you want to actually structure this is that you want to say the course is going to be, or the whole thing together. You get the course and then you get the community as a bonus, and they'll get 3 months, 3 to 6 months of the community for free. All right. So they'll get 3 to 6 months of the community for free. And all of this for anywhere between, this could be anywhere in between $2,000 to $10,000. Okay. And you can sweeten the deal and you can make it go higher, but I'd really recommend going no higher than 10K for this kind of offer. But 10K upfront, then after they actually finish the 3 to 6 months that you give them for free, let's say you gave them 6 months for free, or let's say you give them 3 months for free and you charged 5K, then once they're done with that, they would have to pay the normal paid community amount, which can be anywhere between $100 to $300. I'd recommend keeping it in the middle, so like 200 to 300 would be, I think, a good range, to like 250, maybe 200 to 250. It'll depend on your specific audience and what you're actually selling. Highest, if you're doing something that's not BizOp, like $100 a month is max. If you're doing anything that's not BizOp, if you're doing BizOp, if you can actually sweeten the deal for them and make it so that you actually teach them stuff, then I would recommend, hey, like go a bit higher at around like 150, 250, right? That would be my biggest recommendation for that specific thing. Now, anyways, that's basically how you would want to implement anything, any kind of course or community, any kind of paid community at all, right? Number 6, you also want to make sure to offer yearly or VIP. So you can have simple extras if you buy yearly, where you can get a priority, you can get recordings faster, you can get badges, blah, blah, blah. So if you buy yearly program, you get all of these benefits, even though you pay less money than what you would actually pay yearly, right? Then number 7, so for example, I mean, just to put this into perspective for you guys, sorry, forgot how to speak there. But anyways, let's say your community is $100 a month. You just want to sell a quick, maybe $700 to $800 price tag 1 year subscription. It depends on what your churn is. If your churn is like, I mean, if you don't have any churn, I would not recommend lowering that much. It'll depend on how much churn you have. So if people on average stay like 6 months, bam, 7 to 8 months or 9 months is a win. So go ahead and do 900, right? If people on average stay 3 months, again, just lower it a little bit as well. Like you can lower it a little bit, not too much. I'd recommend max 30 to 40%. Do not go any more than 50% because then you just look like a scammer kind of. But anyways, I recommend around 800 for this kind of price point if you had $100 a month. So $800 you charge them, and then you just be like, you're going to get the priority, you're going to get the recording, you're going to get the badges, and you pay less. Bam. It's a really good deal. Now, number 7, you want to pick 2 to 3 key actions that show success. Then push the new folks to do them on day 1. What do I mean by that? You want to see when somebody joins, and you want to interview the people who actually get success with your program. Why? Because now you want to know, hey, what did you do that was kind of like, you want to basically interview them, and you want to be like, and you want to also ask people who didn't get results. You want to interview people who didn't get results, and then you want to compare, hey, what did these two do different? And then pinpoint the 2 to 3 key things that everybody repeated, every successful one repeated, every successful student repeated, and be like, hey, do this quickly so that you can get results quickly for the prospect. Now, why you want to do this? That's more wins, more social proof, and the prospect does not experience any buyer's regret because they got value very quickly. All right. Don't sleep on this. This is a really good idea. All right. That's basically the entire, if you still do free to paid upsell, do this. Okay. That's the entire thing. Now here's a few common traps a lot of people fall into. So first of all, adding more features to fix churn. If you add more stuff, that will result in more overwhelm, and that will result in more churn because you need to have people learn so many more things. They're going to leave instantly. So you're actually increasing churn by adding more features. What you need to do to fix churn is that you need to replace existing features if they're really bad, if people are like, hey, I hate this. Or if they don't, then you want to, or if people aren't using the features, then you want to push them, hey, like use these features, blah, 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 blah. And of course you want to hop on calls with them and see, hey, are these features not useful for you? If they aren't useful for your ICP or the people in the community, change the offer, change the features. If they are, but they're just not using it, then make it easier for them to use it. Push them to use it. Make it easier for them. Make it sweeten the deal for them if they use it. Give them like incentives to use it, like level ups, badges, even like physical money. Sometimes you give them like a discount or something if they do these things. And then number 2, you could also do only monthly pricing on the low ticket. So that's really bad again. You always want to offer some kind of quarterly or yearly option so that people who are really devoted, they can actually pay you a lot, and you can make sure that your churn is as low as possible. And then number 3, the free group does not have to become your help desk. Please do not make the free group your help desk. Only time you want to help the free group is in the support center with support tickets after like a day. All right. Number 4, do not let the DMs become the product. So don't allow your prospects to constantly DM you or constantly DM admins trying to like get basically mentorship from them, because that just makes the DMs the product. And at that point, why are they even buying your stuff? And then one of the last topics is the money note. So simple math, you want to remember all these things. If 10 out of 100 people quit each month, you must add 10 new just to stay even. So make sure to add more than 10 people every month to grow. Very simple math. You need to keep track of all these things to make money. Now, yearly, always prioritize the customers yearly over quarterly over monthly. So that means if somebody does yearly, you want to prioritize them greater than quarterly. If somebody does quarterly, you want to then prioritize them greater than monthly, because then they get to that premium feel where they're like, hey, I paid for yearly. I really like feeling that premiumness, and I feel like I'm cool, I guess, in a way, right? They feel like they're special, basically, and you want to make sure that happens, because then they're going to spend more money with you. Number 3, simple beats complex. Give only what people will actually use. Now, if let's say you hop on calls with, this is going to be a story from somebody I know, a close friend I know. He runs a school community, all right, and he has a few thousand people in there. And well, not a few thousand people, but a few hundred people. And he used to do free calls. He used to do calls in the paid community. Now, what he did was he noticed that the paid community, people in the paid community weren't attending the calls because the time zones were very difficult to reach, because he had a lot of people from different time zones. And like only 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people would watch any of the replays. So he realized, hey, why would I spend 2 to 3 hours every single week just hopping on these group calls when I could just give more value by posting stuff by messages? So what he started doing was he just removed the calls and was like, hey, if anyone has questions, just leave them in the question channel. I'll hop on for like 3 hours a day, or 1 or 2 hours a day, or 3 hours a day. I'll just go ahead and answer all of these questions for you. And he did that, and his prospects were way happier because he's able to answer all these questions instead of getting them on a call. And he did what they wanted. He removed the redundant pieces of his funnel or his product, and he made his life easier, and the same with his prospects. Now, number 4, okay, there's no number 4, my bad. Anyways, at the end of all this, there's a quick TLDR. First of all, free to paid upsell is bad unless your people are hobbyists or broke students, or it's a short pop-up to warm leads. Period. Better, you want to sell mentorship for cash plus results, or run a tight paid community with yearly or VIP and a strong first deliverable. Then stack proof and then scale. Hope you got a ton of value from that video. That's the entire video broken down into the nitty gritty. Again, hope you got a ton of value from it. If you are interested in working with me to implement something like this, if you have a free community or a paid community funnel you need to save, if you want to implement an info offer or whatever it might be, if you already have an info offer you want to scale, whatever it might be, DM me on Instagram down below. Fair warning, I do only work with people who have existing following. So that means that if you have engagement on your platform, so Instagram, that could be TikTok, that could be YouTube, that could be X, that could be LinkedIn, whatever the hell it is, wherever you have an actual following of people, you get actual views, you are active in posting, and you are in the biz op niche, so that means business operations. Feel free to, again, DM me on Instagram down below. We're going to go ahead and talk. I'll see if I can help you. If I can, by the way, this is not going to be a setter. This is going to be me. So if I can help you, we're going to hop on a call. From there, we'll again see if I can actually, help you with the nitty gritty of your offer. If we want to move forward, we'll move forward. Either way, you're going to get a ton of value. If we deem that, we're not a good fit for each other, we'll move on and I'll point you in the right direction. I'll give you some good advice, some tips, and exactly what to do with your business. And so you'll get a ton of clarity either way, even if you don't, we don't work together. So no brainer for you. Go ahead and click the link down below. If you don't want to do any of that and you just want to watch another one of my videos, go ahead and check this one out right here, because YouTube thinks that you'll like it. It's going to be probably somewhere over there. And of course, if you do want to watch the whole funnel breakdowns playlist, which is my whole playlist where I break down other people's funnels, and it has probably over $100,000 worth of sauce alone. Here it is down below me. And of course, if you do want to go ahead and leave a like and subscribe, which I would appreciate, subscribe in the corner over there. And of course, like is down below the video. Hoping to see you in this next video. Goodbye.